Hello. Thank you so much for being here. Let me just open up this PowerPoint and move my little bubble so that you can see me. Oops. So that you can see the PowerPoint. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. This is my very first course, and it has been 3 years of motherhood in the making, and I'm so excited that you're here. I'm so grateful that you're here. And I'm just so excited for what's going to happen as we move through this together. So this is the Motherhood Thrive Guide course, as you already know, and I'm going to be teaching you the 4 essential mindset shifts and strategies that are going to help you successfully navigate the mental and emotional transition into motherhood. And if you don't already know, my name is Mia Hemstad, and I'm a mom of 2 kids, and you're gonna learn a lot about me as we go through this course, because this course is full of a lot of great anecdotes and personal experiences that I think you're gonna relate to. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, I want to congratulate you on taking the first steps toward getting the knowledge and the tools you need to thrive in motherhood. It is a win to be celebrated, so I hope you are patting yourself on the back, and I hope you're going to reward yourself with something for just buying this course and giving yourself the time to learn these things. Okay, so before we begin, I want to make sure that you have printed your course workbook. You should have gotten it in an email, or it is also linked in your course dashboard. So make sure that you print this. So go ahead and press pause if you haven't already printed out. And if you don't have a printer, then just make sure you have a notebook, because we're going to be going through the workbook as we go through this course. And I'm so excited about it. Okay, so before we begin, I just want to give you a quick medical disclaimer. I had to move my bubble. A quick medical disclaimer. So I'm not a mental health practitioner. This course is not meant to treat or diagnose a mental illness, and I highly encourage you to go to a healthcare provider to get evaluated for postpartum depression if you identify with any of the symptoms described by the Mayo Clinic in the article below. So if you can't click on this article, obviously, because this is a video, but this article will be linked again in your course dashboard, and you should also have received an email when you signed up for this course with all of the links that I'm going to be talking about. Okay, so what is the problem? And before we dive into the 4 strategies and the 4 mindset shifts, which I've gleaned over the years, it's really important that you understand what the problem is. And you need to get some background, because I want you to understand that you're not an anomaly. You're not a weirdo. You're not crazy for struggling. If you've been struggling in motherhood, you're not crazy. There's a lot of people just like you, and we all need support and help. So there is a massive gap in the education to prepare a woman to become a mother. I don't know about you, but no one talked about the mental and emotional struggles and challenges that I was going to face when I became a mom. I'm from a huge family. I was always surrounded by women who had kids, and no one talked about that. People talked about breastfeeding, people talked about what car seat to buy, people talked about the best stroller, but no one talked about what really honestly matters, the mental and emotional challenges that we all need to be prepared for if we're going to really handle that transition into motherhood successfully. And I also want to make it very clear that when I talk about transition, I'm not just talking about pregnant to birth. Because if you're sitting here and you have 5 children and you still feel like you're struggling, I want you to know that the transition into motherhood is an ongoing one. As long as your kids are growing and changing, which they always are, you are transitioning. You need to be growing and changing with them to handle the challenges that are going to be evolving as your kids grow up. Okay, so I just wanted you to think about it really quick. So there are very few resources that help mothers prepare for the mental and emotional transition that comes after birth. And I want you to just think about, in your own preparation, have you seen or heard of many resources or people that really talk about, honestly, the potential of postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, any sort of mood disorders after you have a baby, or just preparing you to know, hey, if you don't feel like yourself for a while, that's normal. And I just want you to think about that, because if you already have a kid and you're struggling, I don't want you to kick yourself anymore. If you've been kicking yourself this whole time, what's wrong with me? Why am I not transitioning well? I want that self-hatred, that self-loathing, that self-deprecation. There's no place for it in this course. This space, this community that I'm creating for you and everyone else is taking this, we are only going to have empathy. We are only going to have empathy and love for ourselves, and we are going to pat ourselves on the back for working so hard and for showing up every single day. Okay, so the transition to motherhood, in case nobody has told you, should not be one of constant overwhelm, mom guilt, and isolation. The transition can actually transform and strengthen you for the better when you have the education and the tools needed to succeed. So this is a long section, but it's really important to me that you understand. I'm sorry if my chair is very creaky. It's very creaky. It's really important to me that you understand all the feelings and experiences that I've gone through and that so many moms like you have gone through, so that you know that you're in the right place. So this course is for you if you're pregnant and preparing to become a mom, if you've been feeling overwhelmed and even depressed by your inability to be the perfect mom, air quotes, if the emotional, mental, and physical strain of being a mom is taking a major toll on you and your relationships, like with your partner, if you feel isolated and alone, if you feel constantly judged or scared of other people's opinions, if you feel like you have to explain all of your decisions as a mother and as a woman, think going back to work, choosing to formula feed, or co-sleeping. Like when someone asks you, well, why are you doing that? And you feel like you have to explain it to them or else they're going to think you're a bad mom. If you're tired of no one really getting it, like what it is you're going through, if you're tired of no one understanding, this course is for you. If you're sick of feeling unhappy or not cut out for motherhood, if you're tired of going to other people for advice and hearing, well, that's just the way it is, these years are rough, it's just the way it goes. If you're tired of the mom guilt that sits in your stomach every time you even think of doing something nice for yourself, the first thing I want you to know is you're not alone in feeling these feelings and experiences. I had them, and I know so many moms who've had them too. I can tell you from my own journey after 3 years of being a mom and having 2 kids and overcoming severe postpartum depression twice that these feelings and experiences are very common. So why aren't we talking more about this stuff? And I'm sorry again for my squeaky chair. I didn't realize it was so squeaky. Let me try to adjust. Maybe I should stand. I hope that's okay with you guys if I stand up. I know it's a weird angle, but the creaking is bothering me. So why aren't we talking more about this stuff? The answer is simple. We're scared of judgment. We're scared that we're going to appear negative because isn't this the best time of our lives? Isn't this the happiest time of our lives? And for some reason, there's this idea in our culture that if we're complaining about something or we're expressing a discomfort, that somehow that means we're not grateful for our blessings. And that's just not true. We're humans. We're way more complicated than that. And feelings of discomfort and gratitude can coexist. We're worried that we won't look like we have it all together. And that is also a myth. You don't have to have it all together. So just to prove to you that you and I aren't the only ones who have these fears, worries, and struggles, I've gathered some data for you. Because you don't need to just take my word for it. So here's some statistics really quick. I promise I won't bore you. So when you type, why do moms feel in a Google search bar, what do you think the number one search phrase is? Like, I want you to guess. Like, what do you think the number one search phrase is in Google? So when you type in, why do moms feel in a Google search bar, you get, why do moms feel guilty? And if you look closely, you see the word guilty numerous times in this search. You see, why do moms always feel guilty? Why do working moms feel guilty? And when you type that in, at least when I made this PowerPoint a few weeks ago, there's 18.6 million results and climbing every day. Also, if you type in why do moms feel, if you notice the second result is why do moms feel lonely with 103 million results. So the effects can be so harmful to our physical and emotional health, and let me prove it to you. So in a 2018 survey in Today's Parent, and my bubble is covering 2018, so I hope that's okay. And I'm going to link this article for you again in your course dashboard. So in a survey done, let me just read this to you. So there isn't much in-depth research on new parents and loneliness, but a recent UK survey of more than 2,000 mothers by the online mothers networking group Channel Moms found that 90% of mothers feel lonely since having children. 90%. And 54% felt friendless after giving birth. We would do well to pay attention to this phenomenon because long-term loneliness is dangerous. In recent years, it has been linked to increased rates of hypertension, sleep disturbances, and mental illness. According to a UK government report last year, loneliness can be as harmful to your long-term health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Okay, definitely go check out that whole article if you want. It's going to be linked in your course dashboard. It is staggering that 90% and that 54%, that is really high. So is it worth it to stay silent and not get any help? Absolutely not. Your joy matters. And in case nobody has told you, knowing who you are after you become a mom matters. And taking guilt-free care of yourself matters a lot. That's what this course is about. I'm going to teach you the mindset shifts and practices that literally saved my life by helping me to rediscover my identity, overcome severe postpartum depression, and enjoy and value my role as a mom. So when I say, just really quick, actually, before we dive into this slide, when I say save my life, I just want to be vulnerable with you for a second. My postpartum depression, the isolation I felt, the sleep deprivation, the struggle, the challenges that I felt when I became a mom ended up creating postpartum depression and anxiety so severe that I felt suicidal. At first, it started with me just feeling like a bad mom, and then it ended up with me feeling like I wanted to run away, and then it ended up with me feeling like I wanted to take my own life. So I take this very seriously, and I am not exaggerating when I say what I'm about to teach you can literally transform your life. So I want you to go ahead and get ready, because you're going to learn how to redefine motherhood so that you can worry less about other people's opinions, stop feeling like a failure, and become truly proud of yourself and the work you are doing as a mother. You're going to learn how to ask for help because there is a right way and a wrong way to do it. You're going to learn how to set healthy boundaries with family and friends to protect your mental and emotional health. And you're going to learn how to realistically and consistently practice self-care without feeling guilty about it. And all of these things work together. I thought about releasing these courses individually, but when I really took a big look at the bigger picture, I had to learn all of these things because they all connect in order to really help you to become mentally and emotionally strong as a mom and as a woman. So a quick note on postpartum depression. I don't take postpartum depression lightly, as I just said. There was a point each time I had postpartum depression that I felt suicidal, and after the birth of my second daughter, when I felt that way, I knew I needed to get evaluated, diagnosed, and properly treated. I did not get help with postpartum depression after I had my first child because I was too scared, and I didn't know anybody else that had postpartum depression, and I was the first woman in my friend group to have a baby, so I didn't have any reference point. I was the first one to go forward. And it caused my first year of motherhood to be extremely difficult, and I do not want that for you. If I can spare one more mom, just one more mom, from having an entire year of her first year of motherhood being so awful, this is what this course is for. So I want to encourage you. I encourage you to get help if you feel that you have postpartum depression. The longer you leave it untreated, the worse it can get, and the longer it can take to get better. So I want to save you the time and energy. I created this course because I want to save you from the time and heartache that I spent over the last 3 years of motherhood and 2 years of therapy trying to figure all of this out. And I'm going to take a second to just really quickly move my video bubble down because it's starting to get really distracting. Okay. So if I can do this, you can do it too. I want to assure you that if I can go from severe postpartum depression to loving and enjoying motherhood and myself and handling the challenges in a way that strengthen me instead of break me, then you can do this too. So up next, we're going to be diving into how to redefine motherhood. I am so excited. Let's get started. Hold on a second. I can't find the button to stop.